Hello, welcome to Plants, People, Science, a podcast of the American Society for Horticultural Science, where we talk about all kinds of things horticulture. I'm your co-host, Kurt Rome, University Professor of Horticulture at the University of Arkansas, along with my friend and co-host, Samson Humphrey, a PhD researcher at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. We'd like to welcome you. Glad you're here today. Sam, how are you?
Kurt, I'm doing fantastic. We have an exciting episode today.
Yeah, I'm real excited. We're going to speak with Dr. Leskovar, Daniel Leskovar. He's president of ASHS. He's got a very interesting story. Growing up in Argentina, coming to the United States on a Fulbright fellowship, studying at some major horticultural institutions, and then working in one of the most productive horticultural rich regions of Texas. So, are you ready for spring? The days are getting longer. It's starting to get warm here. We haven't had a big snowfall yet. I'm kind of thinking we're going to get one, but my mind has shifted towards spring. I'm starting to prune my trees in the orchard. I've got my research plans for the spring. The semester of school has started. We're fully engaged. I'm kind of ready for spring. I always get my excitement level goes up at this time of year.
If you say so, Kurt, I'm in the mood for summer. I really enjoy when campus is empty. There are no students around. I can walk through the empty hallways. Then again, I do enjoy popping into professors' offices and waving hi. So it is nice to be back and seeing those people again. But it's exciting, actually. I am in Knoxville for the first spring, and it's just beautiful here. The hills and mountains and trees. It's a new view of plants that I never got in where I used to live in Florida. So I feel like my horizons are broadening, and yeah, it's an exciting time.
Well, I think you'll find out that you really enjoy it. Knoxville is very much like Fayetteville in terms of its climate. We have really 4 discrete, almost equally balanced seasons. And so, we're now halfway through winter. Springtime is going to come up real soon. Spring always seems to jump on me before I'm ready. We'll have a couple warm days in February, and then the daffodils will be up, the tulips will be popping up, and then I'm going to be thinking, I'm already behind on getting my spring and the summer work going. And, do I have my plans planted? My plans planned well enough? Do I have the plants ready to go? But I'm excited about it. And, there is something special about a university when it's empty, but as a professor, Samson, I have to tell you, I get so much energy from having students around. The classes I teach, the interaction with our graduate students, that brings me a lot of energy.
Well, what I'm excited about for this spring is all the new podcast episodes we're planning for the year. This is the time the team takes to plan ahead and say, what sorts of summer-themed episodes do we want? What sorts of fall-themed episodes can we look forward to? And so, I'm really enthused about what we have coming up on the podcast.
Yeah, I am too. So this is our first podcast of 2025. I'm excited about it. So I suppose we ought to get going.
Sounds good. Good morning, Dr. Leskovar. Could you please introduce yourself?
Good morning, Sam. Certainly, yes. My name is Daniel Leskovar. I'm a professor in vegetable crop physiology at Texas A&M University. I'm also the center director of the Uvalde and Dallas AgriLife Research and Extension Center.
Good morning, Dr. Leskovar. Tell us a little bit about the center. How big is the center that you work with?
Good morning, Dr. Rom. Nice to see you again. The the Uvalde Research and Extension Center is located in a rural area west from San Antonio, and so the center is about together with graduate students, postdocs, we should be shy of 55 or something like that. While the Dallas Center, located in the metropolitan area, it's almost double. It's just 120 plus between faculty, research, extension, different agencies, postdoc, and students, and staff, of course.
Okay, it's a good sized group. Thank you.
Yeah,
it is. And you've been running it for a while, since 2011. You've had quite
yes, 2011 at the Uvalde Research and Extension, and the Dallas. I've been interim for almost 40 years and became director this year. So it's been already 5 years at the Dallas Center.
So how did you become interested in horticulture? I know your family had a history in agriculture. You were brought to the Pampas region of Argentina when you were 6. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like for you?
Sure. So, like you indicated, yes, my father has an agricultural science degree, a doctoral degree from the University of Firenze in Italy, and so he moved to Argentina after the Second War. Was immediately working for a brewing company for hops production and research. So when I was 2 years old, my father used to take us to all of the hop farms in the very southern Argentina, in the Patagonia area, visiting farmers and growing hops. And that always created an image, an imprint early on in my childhood. So then after 4 years more at the age of 6, my father, because of his job, moved to near Mar del Plata, which is in the province of Buenos Aires, into a large farm that we have there crops and agronomic crops, wheat, potatoes, and barley, and also horticultural crops and some fruits. But the main activity was hops for beer, and so that allow me to be exposed to those kind of crops. But then when I got 7 years old, I had a very severe kidney infection that put me in bed for 1 year and in the hospital a couple of months. And so during that time, when I got 7, my father gave me a microscope, thinking that I was going to be resting. So, and then this microscope actually changed my view of plants, because I was able to look through the mirrors beyond what you see on your eyes. So I explored the cells, the tissues, and that give me intrigue about plant biology. And to this day, actually, I sense and I smell that wooden encased, the clear wood box with the green cloth inside, and then the black microscope. So it was really an interesting imprint in my life to these days. So after that, in addition to that, obviously because of my condition, my mother, which is Eastern European from Croatia, was an excellent cook. So I have to change the diet because of that. And so the diet was based on fruits and vegetables, not to a large extent. So that was those combination between the exposure to plants, to the environments, and to the food, gave me much more interest in agriculture, particularly in horticulture.
Dr. Leskovar, so that's an interesting story. The reason it resonates with me is actually when I was 9 years old, my father gave me a microscope. And I remember the first time putting a leaf underneath it and looking and seeing the cells of a leaf. I just thought that was amazing. Was that kind of the start of your research curiosity, that, that microscope, that simple little gift, that kind of piqued your curiosity?
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Kurt. Yes, I mean, there were two, I will remember there were two gifts, that he gave me when I was in that time. One was that, and the other was he came with a toy from Japan when he went to Europe and came back. And that toy was it was a helicopter. So in my imagination, the helicopter should fly. So I just threw that helicopter up in the air and it fall down and crash. So it says, well, that doesn't have much of interest and as compared to some more insight gift like the microscope. Yes. So to confirm your question, Kurt, that was was a critical point for me to decide. Horticulture. It's or even though I didn't. At that time, I didn't know, the details, but exposing to plants and the environment gave me the drive to the next steps.
What about when you went to college? Did you get involved in research as a college student?
Yes. When after that, and during that time, then I went. Obviously, before college in my high school, the preferred subject was biology. So after finishing my high school, I decided to do the undergraduate or BS, we call it here, in biochemistry in the College of Medicine in Buenos Aires. So I went there, but soon after that, I realized that plants were my passion, and then decided to move with my family back to the southern Patagonia, and there I studied agronomy or agricultural sciences with a specialization or orientation in horticulture. This is a five-year undergraduate program, very very applied in a sense, very practical, and that prepares you very well for the job market. And actually, when I was in the third year, I was managing 2 fruit farms, apples and pears, as well as a hop farm, experimental farm together with my dad. So that was the next steps associated with horticulture.
But then you went far after that. You went to the University of Wageningen in the Netherlands, and then the University of California, Davis, and then the University of Florida for your master's and PhD degrees. Can you talk us through the next steps of how you became a vegetable physiologist?
Sure. So when I was finished my undergraduate in with horticulture, I still continue working in hops from a private company, but as also part-time working at the university in the horticulture courses. And so, and then I decided that really my passion again continued to be horticulture. So I had the opportunity to reconsider my future and decided to apply for a Fulbright scholarship. And I applied the first year, and I was selected, but they decided that the timing was not there. And then at the same time, my mentor in the university where I was working with him in horticulture, he has done a training in the Netherlands, in Wageningen, and he suggested, why don't you consider try to apply for the government scholarship? So I did. I got it, and went to Wageningen University, which is the number 1 university in the world, and that experience, engaging with the most the renowned scientists in the world with different exposures, that provided a kick for me to reevaluate my future. And it was at the end of that stay that Fulbright contacted me again, and they say, wait, we have your application from last year. Will you reconsider this? When I certainly came back from the Netherlands, and decided, after visiting with my family, that was the step to do, and then went to UC Davis for my master's, and spent 2 years, a little longer than 2 years, and then after that, University of Florida for the PhD.
That's amazing. What was it like moving around so much? What major challenges did you face moving between countries?
Well, being in Argentina is a large country, like Texas is a large state, so you travel a lot. So my father was also a traveler, and from going from one place to the other, from Buenos Aires to the southern Patagonia, that was about 1,000 miles or even more than that. So we were kind of used in terms of traveling. So adjusting to traveling was not, but obviously adjusting to different culture, that was obviously takes time, and adjusting to an educational system also takes time. And so I wouldn't say it was easy. Everything now has to be reconsidered, and then how best you can adapt. It's up to how open we are for changing certain things to be more accommodating to the social cultural environment that was in the U.S.
So you moved around, you completed your degree, you've landed in Texas, and now you're down at Uvalde. You've been there since 2011. Tell us a little bit about the horticulture of that region. What are some of the horticultural crops that are grown there, and how does that intersect with your research and your interests?
Mm-hmm. Certainly, yeah. The Uvalde area, or the region is the Uvalde County and Uvalde City is at the heart of what the area called the Winter Garden of Texas. So that's southwest from San Antonio, about 1 hour and 15-20 minutes. And it's a very rich kind of a valley below the hill country of Texas, the beautiful hill country, and is surrounded by with rivers. There's 4 rivers. Of course, most of them now are very dry because of the drought that we have. But most of the crops then, because of our environmental conditions, are irrigated. So there is about 120,000 acres plus or minus of agronomic and vegetable crops or specialty crops. And so in terms of horticultural crops, the measured ones, as the word indicates, winter garden, are leafy greens or cool season crops. The benefit of this region is that we have mild winters. So it starts, in late September, early October until late March. You could grow a variety of cool season vegetables. The more important being spinach, cabbage, onions, carrots, and also other cruciferous crops, leafy greens, and then broccoli, and to some extent, some small growing of cauliflowers or some other cole crops. Then there's also a big area of production in potatoes for processing. We have more than 5,000 acres. And that is part because the region also have different soil types. We go from heavy clay soil to sandy soil, low pH, that allows to grow potatoes or green beans and also watermelons as well. And in the spring, summer, we have, again, some of the cucurbit crop, watermelons and melons. We used to have really a much more production of cantaloupes, but due to conditions of the markets and safety and water, that industry has been really reduced significantly.
So of all those crops, that's a lot, and I can see why you call it the winter garden. It's really the winter salad garden, it sounds like. What are some of the crops that you've worked on? And, or maybe I should really ask this, what's the most fun crop or intriguing crop that you've worked on? What's an exciting one
The exciting
piqued that little boy's interest with that microscope.
Yeah, the most exciting one, actually, going back to the microscope and to that time. So when I was at the university back in Rio Negro, Neuquén, the crops that I really liked the most were artichokes, asparagus, and strawberries. Now, if I had to pick up a crop that grows well here, a kind of an introduced crop I tried to introduce with several growers, it is artichokes. And I together with my team, and other students, we developed, the kind of the know-how to grow artichokes in this region, which is much warmer. But we developed the management techniques in terms of irrigation and fertilization and varieties and planting configuration, mulching, those sort of things. In addition to different varieties of genetics, working with some colleagues in California. So artichokes it's been fun, and in addition to that, it's a top. One of the major, if not the major, vegetable crops in terms of health because of antioxidant properties and phenolic compounds. It runs at the same level as blueberries or some of the berries.
Well, yeah, I love artichokes, and I really appreciate that they have strong health value. I probably negate that with melted butter or with sauces that I use to put on my artichokes. But at least I feel good about it now. So, Dr. Leskovar, do I understand right? Did you receive a USDA NIFA Specialty Crop Research Initiative grant on farm to table that you've worked on?
I was part of that, but not in the not as a PI. I was a collaborator in that. Yeah, I believe. Dr. Bimu Patil received that early on, and yes, we work on that as a team.
What was your role in that particular grant? Yeah, those grants have to be a collaboration of several team members and have several aspects that are worked on. What was your role as the team member for that grant?
I mean, you're talking about this grant that was received, was awarded recently or a few years back?
I think it was a recent one. It's a farm to table, a sustainable approach to melon supply and melon production.
Oh, yeah. So that's that part was basically as a multi-state large project. Our part was looking at interaction between genetics and the environment. So I worked very close with the melon breeder at Texas A&M University, Dr. Kevin Crosby. So we are been working with him in melons and tomatoes and peppers, particular melons and peppers. And so we were basically evaluating different type of melon types and then the different conditions in our region, with the idea to look at the quality aspects, because obviously the different regions have different environmental conditions and soil. So though all of those melons then went to further evaluation in terms of quality, sensorial quality, and also aspect related to potential interactions with certain diseases or bacteria that could be implicated in contamination.
For melons in the Uvalde region, melons like cantaloupes and watermelons have a pretty limited seasonality in the South. So with your mild environment, were you able to have early melons, transplant at this time of year and have early melons, or did you transplant in the fall and have late melons? What was the season that you could capitalize on?
Sure. Yeah. No, the season is strictly in the spring. So, and because of the winters are mild but still cool enough for the plants to enjoy growing. So we had to wait until late March, early April particularly for watermelons. And then we start the watermelons. We start from transplants, obviously, because of the majority of the watermelons, more than 70-80% nowadays are all seedless watermelons. So there are more expensive seeds. So you want to make sure that one seed produces one plant, and that one plant will produce production that will be beneficial and economically. So the transplants are growing in nurseries. In the case of the watermelons, for about 30 days, and then they planted in, like I said, late March, early April in our region, and then the crop can be start harvesting at 70 days. So it's a fairly rapid cycle because temperatures approaching June, July can be very, very hot and extreme. So it's the temperatures actually are high temperature are a benchmark, for those plants to really begin to finalize the production cycle.
Okay, thank you very much. I found that kind of interesting. I just didn't know that. Good.
Now, I want to ask a few questions about ASHS, but before we move on, are there any projects you're working on right now or that are happening at your center right now that you're really excited about?
In terms of the you say about ASHS or projects in research?
Projects in research.
Yeah. There are actually three projects right now that we are concentrating. We've been working quite a bit in tomatoes, fresh market tomatoes for production in the region and also in Texas. And so, and the emphasis is combining, basically simple technologies to improve the productivity and the quality of fresh market tomatoes for growers that are more associated with marketing to retailers or farmers market or direct sales. So we're working with different type of evaluation of screening different cultivars and genotypes from breeding program in high tunnel conditions and also open field, as well as both conventional, and we started to do some organic as well. But a major emphasis on that also was incorporating the grafting technology. As grafting is a very old traditional technique that has been implemented by some growers, and we're looking at screening different type of rootstocks, both commercials and also new genetics through collaborators that I have in Saudi Arabia, and compared to the standard measured use rootstocks, and we are evaluating those not only under the high tunnel and open field, but also using some tools like phenotyping tools. Like we have an equipment called drought spotter that we can actually measure exactly transpiration or how much water those plants utilize to really provide some more an understanding about the benefit of grafting in terms of water uptake, and also we're looking at nutrient uptake. And I have another project on that working in collaboration with the University of Florida and Nevada. This was a recently awarded USDA specialty crop multi-state project. And we will actually expand the management aspects of growing grafted tomatoes in high tunnels in both conventional and organic fields. So we will look at the production and the physiology, try to get a better understanding the benefit of grafting under those environments. So those are very exciting projects for us. And also we initiated the project, was selected and funded by the state Texas Department of Agriculture in looking at the certain nutrients that could be implicated in the safety of spinach. As we know that California is suffering nutrient called cadmium. It's a heavy metal that it has been a problem in terms of cadmium contamination in leafy greens, particularly spinach. So we are doing a first assessment, working with the spinach growers in terms of the soils and then the leaves to determine the level, and also looking at different varieties of spinach and different harvesting time and seasons. The hypothesis is that we don't anticipate having cadmium problems in our region. In part, there has been some anecdotal data that indicates that, but as well as our conditions and the silty clay soils, high calcareous soils, probably are less prominent to presence of cadmium in the soil. So that's the second project. And the third one is actually working in hydroponics. We have some project also funding by the state in which we are looking at different aspects of management related to hydroponics of leafy greens, looking at management and systems and nutrition and type of varieties. And also we are linking that project together with some other stakeholders, and includes schools, bicycle schools, kids, particularly that could be interested to implement this technique for their educational programs and experiences in horticulture. It's a long answer, but these are the three major projects that we're happy to engage. Yeah.
That's amazing. So you have all of these vegetable projects. You're a very active researcher. You're doing a lot of work there, but you're also very involved with the American Society for Horticultural Science. This year, congratulations, you are the ASHS president. What inspired you to take this step?
Well, so first and foremost, I was nominated by my peers. So that's, to me, is a significant honor to join a society with very strong core value, mission to improve people's lives, to improve the environment, make it more sustainable, and obviously to improve the economies associated with horticultural crops. So that's one. And second is to serve and give back to members to in a much broader capacity that I was participating in the past as a member, and I thought about that. Since I have some leadership experience in the past, also I was chair of one of the largest divisions in the International Society for Hort Science for 2 terms, from 8 years. That was vegetable crops. That experience, together with being a previous member at large at the board of the ASHS, that I was able to see, clearly how hard and dedicated the members of the board and the ASHS staff work for constantly making the society better and to be what we are. We were before, and we are now, and we will be futures. A premier professional society. So, so those two experience and values are the two elements that make me to decide to be part of this great organization.
Dr. Leskovar, it is quite an honor to be nominated and then elected by your peers, and it's quite a commitment. So you're president-elect for a year, you're then president, then you're chairman of the board, you serve on the executive committee during that period of time. You previously served on the board for 2 years. As president and as chairman of the board, do you have some specific goals, some things that you would like to see the American Society for Horticultural Science accomplish or do? So share us what your kind of vision is and your goals. Where would you like to see us go, do, or what needle would you like to see move?
Sure. I mean, there is so much that we can do, right? So, but just to focus on major strategic areas that we feel that would be of benefit for for the broad community of the ASHS members. Number one, I think, is publications. Publication. Now, we are already making significant efforts and changes in this space. There's been already more than probably close to 1 year like that together with the talented members as editors and consulting editors, together with the members of the board. We have several brainstorming sessions and ideas, and they were already put into practice to improve the processes and timing and the reviews, keeping obviously quality as all the quality of the science as a driving factor for everything that we do in terms of publication. So we have an excellent team of involved in education. There are also digital platforms and publication processes that we hope that this will continue providing a better experience for members to consider our journals they are the main one for them to choose and publish the research. But there is more to do, and this is constantly, and it's not the work of one person. It's a team effort, and certainly, you have been also, Kurt, very incredible, your expertise in the past society as president and others that we get to brainstorming this to make it a better quality publications. So that's the number one. I think the second, this is more kind of a general. I feel that we need to do a better job in promoting ASHS as a brand. And at a much higher level. We think that we're doing well, but the stakeholder and the communities is very large and broad. And so we need to elevate our identity, our science, and then give strategic value for the role in education, the role that our colleagues getting education for developing the new future horticulture as scientists, basically. So, we have to proactively, deliver our story that what we do have tremendous value. What we do matters to people, matters to the environment, matters to the quality of life, right? So, consumer. We know the importance of horticultural products in health and nutrition and sustainability. So and how we do that, and I think share that there is a lot under those products. There is a lot of science, there is a lot of innovation, there is a lot of technologies that our colleagues have been doing this for decades. So I think making that story clear to the general clientele will be of help. So that's number two here.
So, you are a member of International Origin, which is, we've actually had some presidents that have come from various parts of the world, most of them from Canada. I think you're our first Argentinian originating president. So congratulations on that. Do you bring in a different perspective? I know that you helped forge a relationship with the World Vegetable Center. With your experience in the ISHS and the International Vegetable Group, do you have some vision for a more internationalization of the ASHS?
I hope so. I hope to through my networking connections, exposure. We have already, even before being nominated as in the American Society, been discussing with my peers at the international level, including the president of the ISHS, and they're very receptive in finding ways to integrate the American Society with the international society in the possibility of joint events, for example. Or specific events that will include more participation of young professionals or students. But also we need to perhaps incorporating other NGOs or other funding agencies that are not particularly focusing in a particular continent, or it's more about regions and ways to improve the economic well-being in certain more developing countries. So I think there is a lot of that we can do. It's a matter of finding that synergy and the focus to concentrate the efforts. And we're in a good. I think we're in a good momentum. As you've seen the last in the meeting that we had in Hawaii, and in my past reflection, I talk about some opportunities for also engaging young minds or young professionals or graduate students through some funding opportunities through non-profit organizations like Fulbright. And I know you've been a Fulbrighter, I've been a Fulbrighter, and so there's wonderful opportunities that could link between these two organizations through those actions. And the other, obviously, is that we need to keep in mind that many of us have the fortune to collaborate in projects international. And as such, part of the outcomes, we normally present either papers or presenting results at the different at their venues or different venues. So I think marketing the American ASHS in those venues will also be very important, because some probably don't know or don't have access to, but all it takes for a person to participate in one meeting, and that could create some spark that person could participate more or be active or share that experience with their peers in their home countries. So that's and of course planning joint meetings is something that we've been discussing. We're discussing with you, Kurt, about the possibility of engaging Canada or even with Mexico, and possibly even with Latin America as well, together with international. I think there are also opportunities to explore that.
Thank you. Yeah, you have a busy agenda. You only have about 7 months left.
This is not, again, this is not the time. It's timeless. It's not, we all need to be working together. We know that some of these meetings take time. And goes way beyond a 1 year term. So this is just a collective effort that hopefully to implement those in a shorter time. But we want to make sure we do it now with quality and very strategic.
Yeah, I know we're already looking forward. The next conference that the planning will begin on is the conference in 2028, which is our 125th anniversary of the society. So
there's a lot to be excited about. For my last question, Dr. Leskovar, I'm curious, within the ASHS, what do you enjoy the most? Is it the collaborations, the interest groups?
Both. I mean, collaboration, interest groups, but again, I think I mentioned what it's fulfilling, that being in a ASHS, it provides you, it's kind of a source of inspiration. It's an idea generation that you listen, you share, you learn, and those can be translated into new ideas for projects or collaborations. So through discussions groups, or participating in workshops, in seminars, symposium, or simply, drinking a coffee with a bunch of colleagues and discussing ideas freely, that really sparks, a lot new possibilities for either looking at your techniques or having questions, developing hypotheses, and then implement them when you come back. So it's quite open and always and you have to be very receptive to all of those opportunities. So it's wonderful to participate in all of those aspects.
Well, thank you very much. I guess I'll see you in a couple of weeks at the Southern Region meeting, so that'll be fun. And if you remind me, I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
Well, thank you, Kurt, and thank you, Sam. This has been wonderful. It's great to visit with you.
Thank you for joining us. Well, that was a fantastic conversation. I really loved getting to know Dr. Leskovar.
Sam, I really enjoyed it as well. He had a very interesting story. He comes to the United States as an international student. You can tell from his story that he already had this passion about horticulture and this passion about plants. And now here he is. He's got an important position. He's emerged on our national stage. He's become a leader among horticulturists in the United States. And quite honestly, through his involvement with the ASHS and the International Society for Horticultural Science, he's become a leader internationally. I thought it was a wonderful interview, and I felt that I learned a lot about him as an individual and what he is doing in his research areas.
Absolutely. So, for our listeners, you should also check out Dr. Leskovar's Hort Legend interview on YouTube. You can find it by searching for the American Society for Horticultural Science YouTube channel, which is titled ASHS Horticulture. You can also see his latest essays on the ASHS e-News. For example, his headline article for December was about the important role of horticulture in holiday celebrations. His research website is online, and you can find it by searching Vegetable Physiology at Texas A&M. If you'd like to reach out to Dr. Leskovar, you can send him an email at daniel.leskovar@ag.tamu.edu.
If this interview resonates with you, I recommend that you renew your membership or you consider joining the American Society for Horticultural Science and become part of interest groups like the International Scientists Interest Group or the Vegetable Working Group. If you'd like more information on the American Society for Horticultural Science in general, please go to our website, ashs.org. And on behalf of the ASHS, this is Kurt Rome, joined by my co-host, Samson Humphrey. Thanks for joining us today. I'll see you later, Sam.
See you later, Kurt. Thanks for listening.
The ASHS podcast, Plants, People, and Science, is made possible by member dues and volunteerism. Please go to ashs.org to learn more. If you're not already a member of the ASHS, we invite you to join. ASHS is a not-for-profit, and your donations are tax-deductible.
This episode was hosted by Samson Humphrey and Kurt Rome. Special thanks to our audio engineer, Andrew Sheldorf, our research specialists, Lena Wilson and Andrew Sheldorf, our ASHS support team, Sarah Powell and Sally Murphy, and our musician, John Clark. Thanks for listening.